If it's black, it's bad. That's what our children think. Since the first recordings of the clock experiment broke into mainstream media, the world could see firsthand through the eyes of our children the extent of negativity associated with being black. One Nigerian entrepreneur, Taofick Okoya, chose to change that perception in his own creative way, making black custom-made African dolls. And he's looking to give Mattel Inc., makers of the Barbie, a run for their money on the African continent. According to Reuters, 7 years in the business, Okoya sells between 6,000 and 9,000 of his Queens of Africa and Niger princesses a month, and reckons he has 10 to 15% of a small but fast-growing doll market. Hello, welcome to another episode of The Heart of the Matter. My name is Omilola Oshikoya, and our topic for today is It's Black and It's Beautiful. We have with us Taofick Okoya, Mr. Taofick Okoya, the CEO of Queens of Africa. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Taofick.
Thank you for having me.
So, you're a doll maker. What sparked the interest or the passion? How did you start this?
It's rather interesting, that if I'd looked back in time and Anton had said I'll be referred to as a doll maker, I'll probably fall over laughing. But the truth now is the fact that I've come to terms with it. And it started in a quite a very interesting way. I didn't realize the fact that, our markets were dominated with white dolls. The realization came about when I'd gone shopping for a gift for a niece of mine. And because of the age at which she was then, I thought it would be good to get her something that would be, instrumental towards her development, that would help her. So I looked at all the dolls and I'm thinking, really, Hawaiian, Barbie, this, that, and I'm thinking, That was when I actually got the idea and thought, you know what, if there was a Nigerian or black doll, it would be great, at least that way she can, identify with it and everything like that. And, truth of the matter is that by the time I left the store, I'd totally forgotten about it. But I think 3 months or so later, a lazy Sunday like that at home with my daughter, and out of the blue, she asked me that, oh, Daddy, what color am I? And I'm thinking, okay, this is not like an obvious question. Because she knows what color she is. So I thought, ooh, this is rather deep. So I was saying, why? She's like, she just wanted to know. I said, okay, you're black, God created, different people, we're all beautiful, we're all unique in our ways and things like that. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, she said she wished she was white. And I'm thinking to myself that, oh goodness, I thought I was really ready for this fatherhood thing and, I'd done everything right. Where did that come from? Because for me, that was the first sign of identity crisis. So I thought, looking around, I realized that with my hands and money, I'd bought her all white dolls. But the TV program we're watching, was all, white-based, and, and all our favorite characters were white, and, it then dawned on me that, and then she looks in the mirror and she doesn't see a likeness of all the things that she's surrounded by. That was when I started putting money into the project, and I have a background in manufacturing, and I'm consider myself rather creative too. So I thought, you know what, I enjoyed the process of actually researching, putting it together, and everything, and that's how it all started. It was so not planned, and guess what? When I started, I actually did it as like a side thing, because I had my mainline business. So I thought, I'll just do that, put it in the market, and, move on. But there was a resistance, The stores were like, nah, people prefer white dolls. Even my daughter, at a point in time, was like, okay. You could tell that she didn't really like the darkest skinned of the dolls, but it took time to explain to her and let her get to understand again that, okay, the different shades, the different colors, But with time, I had to actually embark on like an educational sort of tour, I'll call it, because I now started granting interviews, going on TV programs and trying to get people to understand that there's a psychology behind toys. You know, I don't even call them toys, I call them play tools, because they are tools. And, you know, even abroad, you find out that with psychologists, that when they're working with children, they either give them a pen and paper to draw, or they give them dolls to play with. And while they're role-playing, they're able to get into the mind of the child. You know, so I try to make people understand that it's not just about the fact you can afford a more expensive doll, or, you know, it's white or blonde hair or blue-eyed. It's because of the image you're selling to your children at a tender age.
Okay, let's talk about the business side before we get to the social side. According to Reuters, you sell about 6,000 to 9,000 per month. Is that confirmed, or what are the stats?
At that, during that period, we had like you know, a sort of a drive in the market. We have the Nigeria Princess range. They go for about 500 naira, and you know, so with the constant awareness that we're driving at that time, the dolls are black, they're affordable, they put them in party packs. I mean, like, you know, we even had some people that bought almost 2,000 pieces for like a, you know, Santa's grotto. You know, so the figures do vary, but that was the highest peak that we had achieved, which was very impressive. I was like, oops, you know, because it was more, I saw it as a social project before business. But, you know, the truth of the matter is it has to be sustainable for it to be successful too, you know, and hence having to actually have a balance. But on the average, we still do like between that 4,000 range, because now where we're designing the Nigeria Princesses, they're not available at the moment.
What's the difference between Nigeria Princesses and
the Nigeria Princesses are, we call them princesses, it's more like a, you know, division range somewhat. Okay. Because you see, when we started, our dolls used to go for like 1,500, and I thought that was cheap, but it's relative. Because in Nigeria, you think 1,005 is cheap. It's not. So we did the Nigeria Princesses, you know, at a lower range. And because you see, in Nigeria, we're thinking there's not that much of a doll culture. Why? Because, you know, people don't really have that quality sort of doll for that price that they can afford. So we did because I didn't want it to also be a bourgeoisie sort of thing. I wanted it to cut across, because you see, the message really, you know, is more, the more we can get out there, the more, you know, we're able to make an impact. So, but by the time we get in Nigerian Princesses, we do higher volumes on those, because those are more mass market.
In terms of market share, have you continued to expand market share? According to Reuters as well, you have 10 to 50% market share. So you're competing with the big name Mattel Inc.
I think, you know, I've always explained that what we're doing with the Queens of Africa is it sort of has a mind of its own. And there's that common thread that I think, you know, applies to most parents, you know. And these things sometimes are psychological. We don't, and they're subliminal, so we don't tend to realize them. But I think a lot of people are having to identify with what we're doing. The African race is such that we are all over the place. The world is becoming like a global, it has become a global village, you know, and it's getting smaller and smaller. And you find that you have Africans all over the place. And most of the people that have reached out to us from, I mean, like, I even got like a message from somewhere in Egypt, and I'm thinking, no, not Egypt, Israel. And I'm thinking, oh, really? Do we have like, you know, a great amount of Africans there too? I didn't think we had like, you know, population.
Nigerians everywhere.
You know, and the other day also there was a picture that was sent to us from someone that is in Australia and had bought a pair of the dolls for her daughter, and her daughter is white. You know, so it's, you know, what it is we're selling not the dolls, but the concept, the idea. And I think that really has broadened the scope for us. You know, so we get contacted on a daily basis, people wanting to, you know, get the dolls within their own location. And I think that has continued to increase the market share.
I mean, like, we had social reason is enough.
Yes.
To sell.
Yes. I think people see it as, you know, they identify with it, and, you know, they realize, you know, because for me, not until that conversation with my daughter, it didn't matter what color of dolls she was, you know, I bought her. But when you realize that these things do have an impact, I mean, the formative years of a child is usually between 4 and 9. It used to be maybe 10, but children are getting so growing up so fast nowadays that you sometimes you really have to keep up. So it's amazing that with the way things are going, children are being fed so much that we're not aware. And the danger of it is you don't know what they've been fed until they get to their teenage years, where they're now confident enough to begin to demonstrate and express these things. So I believe that it's very important to catch, to get in there at a very tender age.
Thank you very much. We need to go on a quick break, so we'll continue after the break.
Not a problem.
Viewers, stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Heart of the Matter. We still have with us Mr. Taofick Okoya, the CEO of Queens of Africa. Okay, so I must admit that, I'd gone a few times. I've been shopping. I've seen, I don't know if it's your brand, but I'm assuming your brand is the only brand in the market now. I've seen dolls, and I just thought, okay, but why should I buy this instead of Barbie? But I didn't really understand the reason behind it until I watched a video, the one that was done on CNN, and just watching the kids and just the perception, even the black kids themselves preferring the white dolls, and and saying that the black dolls are ugly or are bad, and even the black children asking them, which doll would you prefer, which one is pretty, and they will say white. And then you realize that on one hand you're breeding racist children, because the white kids think that being black is negative, and on the other hand, from the black kids' point of view, you're raising insecure children who would have an identity crisis. And I'd never really understood the impact of just dolls. And even talking to you, I know my daughter has said to me, "Oh, mommy, I wish we were white." And I was like, why? But because Cinderella is really pretty and very beautiful. But I thought it was just because of the cartoons they're watching, the movies, the princess movies are all mostly white. Yes, they have the one odd black or Asian, but mostly white, and they're beautiful. So, but I didn't actually understand that it even had to do with their dolls as well. For me, you're just buying a doll. It's a doll, and so this is, how do you think as a culture in Africa we have fueled a dislike for being black?
I think the thing is we haven't taken responsibility. We sometimes, or our peers would leave that to other people to decide for us. And at the end of the day, we don't have, we probably wait for the, backlash of that, and then we're like, oh no, it's not, that's not how we are, or this is how we are. I've also, working on this project has also made me realize that you find out that generally the stories that come out of Africa is negative. And when you have majorly negative things coming out of Africa, how would you now turn around and say, oh, I'm proud to be an African? Because that means you're saying I'm proud, to be negative. I remember this story when I was in, school in Stoke-on-Trent in the UK, and we live in London, and my school is about 2 hours from London. So weekends I go back to London, and so when I'm there and we're hanging out, and they ask me, where are you from? I say, I'm from London. And then, so one day, some guy said to me, no, where are you really from? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm from Nigeria. Where's that? In West Africa and everything like that. And we had over an hour discussion where I got to tell him about, where I'm from. And I thought, wow, I'd have had that interaction and I would not have been able to share or change, because he didn't even have a perspective on, Nigeria or Africa. But some people, all they do have is like, we're hungry, we're starving, we're criminal, we're like they said, we're fantastically corrupt. And, so All those are the things that come out of, the stories that are there. But on the back of our dolls, for example, we put like a little write-up there, and we spoke about, or we wrote about great things that happen in Africa, like the tallest mountain being in Africa, the longest river being in Africa, how we have different temperate climates in Africa. I mean, like, it's unique to us. We have over 3,000, ethnic groups. We have over 2,000, dialects, and, we have
So
such
educating people.
we have such diversity. We're colorful. I mean, like, being an African is not just being about the skin color. Sometimes it's an attitude, and sometimes some people see that as cocky, but no, it's not. But you see, if we don't begin to bring to fore those things that we should be proud about, then you wouldn't really want to claim that. I mean, you meet an American anywhere, either black or white or Hispanic, they tell you that I'm American, they're proud to be American, and they have a reason to be proud. It's not like the crime rate in America is worse off, or in Nigeria is worse off than America, or, but you see, there's something for them to hold dear. And that's what we're trying to do, that, don't just associate negativity with Africa. I mean, like, there's a major thing that I've always said to, people generally, that I find it really, really strange that even the African American trace their history and stop at slavery. That's not where your history started from. But they'll rather do that because they probably think, in Africa we're primitive, or, they're better than us somewhat. And can you imagine if the average African American were to, take ownership of Africa also and come back and with whatever they've learned and invest in Africa, Africa would be a better place. But they would rather go and stop at, their genealogy from slavery. Some people try to say, okay, we're trying to do our DNA and trace our roots, and okay, we're within that area, we're from this area. It's not like this thing is not possible, but it is. I mean, like, if people can still trace back, the time of Jesus, I mean, like, which is like, compared to slavery. And so it really is not that hard for you to trace. But you see, we just have to put out there more positive stories about Africa.
So why is black beautiful for our foreign audience?
Black is beautiful, like I said, not because of the color. The melanin in our skin is like beautiful. I mean, I'm sure that people are still finding ways to probably get it and bottle it and sell it. The usual stereotype or cliche of black don't crack, and but I think that in terms of our skin, it's stronger, it's better, and there's this beauty, when you see, nice, natural black skin. I mean, like,
For goodness sakes, even the white people tanning and trying to be like us.
Yes, and we don't have to go through that. I mean, without having to tan, have you seen the white skin? Very pale. It's not that, but, it's bad, but, it's sometimes so pale, you're thinking, oh, goodness, and they've also come to realize that, a little shade here and there, is good.
Nice,
but on the flip side, you also still find, like, black people, bleaching their skin, trying to be white, because also there's that notion that white is beautiful or fair skin is beautiful. And I'm not sure where we got the lines sort of mixed or twisted, but I think beauty is diverse. I don't think having to see beauty from one perspective, and then sometimes you don't realize these things are being marketed to us. Some people are making a killing on selling to us that notion or that concept. Some people say, oh, well, your dolls are slim, shouldn't they be big or thick? And I'm like, thick or slim is not the issue. Being healthy is what it is. Because, I mean, if I were to make dolls that were
big,
obese,
encouraging.
am I saying it's fine for you to, eat and be obese? Or I'm not saying you should be anorexic too, but there's always that balance. So rather than say, oh, big or thin, or want to judge the dolls based on their size, Like we're promoting, promote health. Some people are like, oh, your dolls don't look, Nigerian. All of them don't say they don't look African. I'm like, look, we're talking about over 3,000 ethnic groups. I mean, how are you going to represent that in one doll?
Exactly.
We're called Queens of Africa because we plan to actually take up different, countries in Africa and the major tribe or culture and have them done in the traditional way. Part of what we also do is a fusion of the new and old. I mean, like, you rarely find people wearing Iran Buba, traditional Iran Buba. Yes, it's good to mix, but I mean, to have a fusion and, upgrade these things, but we should not, forego our culture completely. I mean, like, in the next 5 years, if, the way we are now, in the next 5 years, I mean, like, our kids, what would we be passing on to them in terms of culture?
Exactly. So you have some dolls.
Yes.
Can we see some of them?
Okay. We have 3 ranges of the Queens of Africa. This is the Ineka doll. Ineka is fair. I mean, because when we're working on it, we looked at, what is that common thread that you find amongst Easterners, and we find out that of all the other Nigerian tribes, you find more fair, light skin, Okay. We have Wuraola.
Okay.
Wuraola represents like the Yoruba.
Okay.
We have 3 main ethnic groups. So what we've done is just take, of the 3.
I can see a darker shade. Okay, yes.
And we have Aziza.
Okay.
Aziza represents the northern part of Africa. Now, you know that usually their skin is really dark and very, healthy looking and all. So we've sort of done that to sort of represent them. We use a lot of, we use African fabric majorly. Okay. With the hair, we have like wavy, tight curls. Kinky, we have braids, So it's like we have the different types of hair texture because we have the gilly also, which is like, common amongst Africans generally. It's either, in Nigeria, I know we've got a bit more like, we're more elaborate when it comes to headpieces, but, that's also one of the African symbols.
So finally, how can we help instill in our boys and girls the fact that black is beautiful? Especially with your dolls as well.
Yes, like the project now, because initially, like I said, I have gone beyond selling dolls. I'm selling the concept. I'm selling the idea, of promoting black, confidence and beauty. So what we have under the Queens of Africa umbrella, we have some music with positive lyrics, and we have animation series in the pipeline. We have comics, we have books. Some of the books we have, we've done stories on Queen Amina, we've done stories on Queen Idia. African women that did great things back then. I mean, if you ask a young child today, who are your role models? Africans, they probably don't know about this. When we're doing the research of the book, there was basically almost nothing. I only found like 2 paragraphs on Queen Amina, considering what she did, and the things she achieved. So what we're trying to do is just, focus on shining light on the positive things, that is unique to us as Africans. And once we keep pushing that out there, I believe that will further, strengthen the confidence or improve the confidence level of the African child.
Fantastic. Well done. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. We didn't have much time left. But I think what you're doing is amazing. Now I know why. Sometimes there's a saying that before you get someone to do something, you should let them know why.
Yes.
When you know why you need to do a thing, then you will do it. So now I know why I need to get my daughters black dolls, and so I would get them black dolls.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Viewers, we hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to reach Mr. Okoya, or you'd like to buy any of these dolls, his details are on the screen. Thank you very much. Until next week, stay blessed.